everybody, what's up? What goes on? Hope everyone's having an amazing end to their summer. I recently realized, or I had an epiphany, or it just dawned on me, I haven't made a medical madness video in a very long time. And if you can put two and two together, there's a reason for that. If you're not familiar, Medical Madness is a segment I do on this web series where I essentially talk about my experiences with medication I've used to take to treat or aid or do something, because they don't do either of those, but to help me essentially with my mental illnesses. Documenting my experiences playing medication roulette, because that's what it is. So I thought I should do a video because it's like, is no one going to talk about the elephant in the room? Like, is no one going to bring this up? Like, no one, everyone's, okay, cool, you're not going to talk about, oh, okay, no, it's okay. Do you want to talk about it? No, okay, it's like no one wants to talk about it. So guess what? I'll talk about it. So hot take. The reason why a lot of people who live with bipolar disorder aren't on medication, don't want to take their medication, or they stop taking their medication, the problem's not on us. Like, it's not our fault. It's the fault with like the industry. I'm not sure if it's the pharmaceutical industry, I'm not sure if it's the doctor's industry, I'm not sure if it's the research side, I'm not sure where the fuck it starts and who all is technically included, but I do know it stops with us as the consumer. It is not our fault, it is not my fault, it is not your fault that the solutions to treating bipolar disorder, or the ways to treat bipolar disorder, or the way that they're asking us to live, they're just giving us like all shitty reasons or all shitty ways. Like, we don't want to do your shitty ways. Of course we're not going to be doing this because it's shitty. And by saying that, like, oh, well, it's the best that we have, or, you know, you have to start somewhere, or like any of that, like it's accepting anything that is just not like A1, like top tier, 100%, and settling in this thing called life is pretty fucking shitty, don't you think? So I'm sorry if I've had trouble taking medication in the past year for various reasons that are not my fault. But until there's a better way, I don't see it changing. That feels so good to get off my chest. Let's talk about it. As usual, there's a lot of variations, a lot of nuances, a lot of caveats that go into what I just said. But like, I said what I said, and the point remains. Like, research, science needs to speed the fuck up, because I think it's insane that we're expected to take medicines that we don't actually know how they work. Like, we know how they work, but we don't know exactly what they're doing. Or there's like lots of research and shows how they fuck you up later. Or added to that, bipolar disorder, we don't exactly know the extent to it. We have a good idea, but not 100%. We don't, like, there's still things we just do not know. I just think it's funny how a lot of people are so sure about how to treat me or how to treat my disorders. Everyone's so sure about it. But they also don't know shit about diddly squat. I just think it's hilarious how many medicines are out there, how many practices, how many ways of going about treating people there are, when we don't know a whole bunch of different diddly squat shit of anything. That's astounding to me. And maybe that's just how we do science. Maybe that's how we've been doing science since the beginning. But when there's people involved, anything living to an extent, like vegetables, plants, I don't know. You get my point. I'm not here for it. I'm not no guinea pig, so sorry. Let me start off by saying, listen, I am not against medication. It's saved my life quite literally multiple times before the whole bipolar disorder, complex PTSD, before all the like crazy shit came in, like the actual crazy shit, it saved my life. I started my first antidepressant when I was in 8th grade. I started my first ADHD medicine when I was in 8th grade. I'm like y'all, I'm living with all of these disorders, and like I'm sort of just sitting here like, and I cannot stress this enough, what the fuck? So, bipolar medications. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2018. I've tried Tegretol. It wasn't for me. I've tried Abilify. I think it made me super sleepy. I had to go to the bathroom a lot, and then when they bumped up my dosage, it cost like an arm and a leg. I'm good. Next, I tried lithium. It probably gave me a lymph nodes, made it swell up. It made me super sick, like super sick every single night I was taking it. Yes, I took it with food. Yes, I did all the bullshit things that you do. It was making me sick, and I was throwing up, and this wasn't no normal. I'm gonna spare you all the details. This wasn't no normal throw up. Bitch, I was in there fighting for my life every night. And then I've tried Vraylar and Depakote, which honestly, wasn't that bad. I gained weight a little bit, but at the same time, like, I wasn't on them for long enough to be like, this is what happened. I don't know. I got scared and was like, yeah, got a dip. Point being, I have videos on all of these if you want to see up there. Hopefully I say this all the time and I never actually add the links, but I have them all on my channel, so go look. The antidepressants, the anti-anxiety meds, the ADHD meds, all that shit has not affected me. Like, besides, it does what it's supposed to do. The first time I take some bipolar medication, bitch, I'm experiencing side effects. And I feel like it's because them bitches are strong as fuck. And it's not the first time you've probably heard that, you know, the medication makes us feel a certain type of way. It's probably not the first time that you've experienced that. Whatever it may be, you might be onto something. You're not completely wrong. What's crazy is that people on this channel, multiple people, I want to say hundreds of people, I'm pretty sure, like on some of my videos, have said, this medication sucked, this medication did this, I can't live with this, I have this, blah, 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 blah. They are struggling out here because medication is not working. And it's our fault. It's like our fault for not taking it. Like, I legit, when I go see the psychiatrist, they seem frustrated that it didn't work. They seem like they question me like, well, did it do this? Are you sure? And I'm like, bitch, yes. What do you mean am I sure? They don't listen. And I'm not saying that psychiatrists are all bad. I'm not blaming it on them at all. I'm blaming it on the system in the sense that we need more psychiatrists, we need more help, like looking at case-by-case person. And like, honestly, this whole trial and error thing has pissed me off. Like, but we're still like, you're still just like giving it and saying like, here, try this one. There probably isn't another way to do that. Because like, I don't know, it's not the year 3000, but like, when the side effects are as bad as they are and you have to wait for them to fuck you up, like that's essentially what you're doing. You're waiting for, like, you're waiting to see if it fucks you up. And then if it fucks you up, you still have to go through that. Regardless, it might not be as bad if you catch it early, but there has to be some dent in your health, some abnormal change, even if it's not a severe abnormal change. There has to be some type of negative change in order for them to like take the medicine away or change it. And like, that means that you're being negatively impacted, right? It's fucking nuts. And that's supposed to be our fault. I just think it's hilarious that people are like, just take your medication. Why do you keep wanting to go off of it? Why do you keep doing this? Like, why can't you just be disciplined enough? You know how to solve all of this. And it's like, bitch, if there was a pill to fix all of this, don't you think I'd be taking it? That's all it took was some pill to take. Like, that's what's mind-boggling. If it was as easy as just taking one little pill, 2 little pills, bitch, I would take 10 pills to be normal. Then like, don't you think we would all be doing it? Before anybody comments and pisses me off, what I meant here was if there was a magical pill that didn't cause any side effects. For example, lithium. With that medication, it's not if it will hurt your liver, it's when it will hurt your liver. It's typically, you know, you have to be on it for multiple years. At least that's what the research says, or at least that's what I've been told. But it will hurt you. That's why you have to have blood tests done to see, you know, when it's hurting you. So if there was a pill that didn't include, I don't know, losing a liver, or any of the other terrible things that are rare, but not so rare. Like, the fuck? Anyway. From this channel, some of y'all have found medications that work. Some of y'all have come back and said, this is dope, this is great, I'm good. Other people have been like, bitch, help me. And that's where I'm at right now. But when you Google like success rate of bipolar treatments, or you know, the efficacy of bipolar medication, or like, bitch, who's out there just thriving, living their best life? None of us. It's not true. It's not true. I thought this was weird because it's like the way it was worded, and because it's the same sentence everywhere. Like, as in, like, people copied and pasted it to their articles, to their journals, and not like plagiarism or anything, and they cite it, but it comes right back to this fucking article. According to the National Advisory Mental Health Council, the treatment success rate for bipolar disorder is a remarkable 80%. The treatment success rate for bipolar disorder is a remarkable 80%. That sounds like bullshit to me, so I did some digging about where this came from, and digged. I did find, though, that that was from 1993. So the weird thing I think that I found in terms of like understanding that statistic is that the statistic, 80% success rate, is specific to people who have been on medication, people who are on medication, people who are being treated with mood stabilizers, anticonvulsants, antipsychotics. These medications reportedly have had an 80% success rate. Now, I don't know how they define success rate, but that's the part that gets me. is that like I was on lithium, and lithium helped me for a great bit of time. It made me feel better. I was stable. Everything was like great except for like my physical body and my physical symptoms and the fact that I was yakking up a lung every single night. So was it really successful then? I don't know. I feel like if it has side effects of any kind, if it makes and changes our life in any way that's negative, then yeah, bitch, like that's not success. Like who wants to live that way? Because I know that this has been researched and talked about a lot, which is why I thought that 80% was such a weird number. This is a research or article to review more so about recent developments in the acute and long-term treatment of bipolar disorder and identifying promising future routes for innovation within the field. Some of the parts that stick out to me are that number one, 58%, or at least in the study that they did, I should say, within the study that they conducted.
Pause. I'm editing this video. Look at me. I'm editing this video, and I think it's very, very important, and I think I've said this and I stressed this enough so far, but I am technically, I guess, credentialized to be a researcher, but I'm not a medical researcher. I theoretically could have gone online and found tons of articles that support just my findings or just my opinion. That's what we call bias. There are articles out there that support the other side, and I'm not saying that the articles that I pulled for this video are specifically end-all be-all. When looking at these research journals, you should look at, number one, how this, what the study is, what's the objective of the study? Because a lot of times the study will say, we weren't able to conclude this because the research study itself just isn't we just don't have enough data to support that claim. Research journals are typically very nuanced. You're not gonna find a research journal that's saying, the way we treat bipolar disorder is just wrong. And 100%, it's a fact, it's wrong. But you are gonna find a lot of journals that say, there is not enough evidence to support this, so we need to look into this to make sure that we can we can scientifically support this. You need to look at the sample of the research. You need to look at the constraints of the research. There's sections on this. It tells you if this research was pulled by a lot of different people, if the sample was super small, what's the placebo group look like? And again, I don't have time to go into all that, what it means. Maybe I'll make a video on it because honestly, I need a refresher myself. But I just want to stress that, this is not the end all be all, and I understand that, but I want you all to also understand that. These research journals are picked because I liked the way they were conducted. I thought they were good examples, but they're not end all be all. That's all.
58% of patients with bipolar disorder types 1 and 2 achieved recovery. Great, so it's not fucking 80%, because it's like all of us. It's 58%, but 49% of that 58% had recurrences in a 2-year interval. So they relapsed. Twice as many of these recurrences were depressive polarity, marked by sad moods, fatigue, all that shit, rather than manic polarity. And it literally talks about, it says, despite a substantial expansion of research into bipolar disorder and potential treatments during the past 2 decades, I'm 25, so during my lifetime, true advances have been few, which means that we are kind of basically in the same ways of understanding bipolar disorder, treating it, whatever you want to say. It's the same as though we were living in 1996, which was when I was born, or whatever. I don't know. The point is that we haven't done shit. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's not enough funding. I don't know if people aren't looking. I don't know if people aren't researching. I don't know what the problem is. Or maybe we're just too dumb to figure it out. I don't know, we don't have flying cars, and we don't not use gasoline, we don't harness the sun for energy. We don't do a lot of cool things that I'm pretty sure we could figure out. So maybe this is just one of those things. Y'all crazy folk out there, we don't have nothing for you. We're not researching nothing for you. Y'all just good luck. Because that's what it feels like. Again, that 80% statistic, whatever, is complete booty. It talks more about things, and it says, the development of effective treatments for bipolar disorder is hampered by our scarce knowledge of basic disease mechanisms and the consequent absence of validated pharmacological targets and unconvincing animal and human experimental drug models. Bitch, it says it right here! But it's our fault. I think that this is, I think that's all that needs to be said. Boom. Like, y'all don't know shit about shit, and y'all want us to take these medicines and these pills, and y'all are so sure that it's gonna help us. That's booty. That's garbage. That's just my opinion. But like, and sorry I'm so animated, but like that is just fucking nuts to me. And since doing this fucking channel, since doing Medical Madness, again, I'm not a doctor, not a researcher. Well, I actually do have a research degree, so I guess, and I'm technically certified to research like human. Anyway, I am not credible. Go look it up for yourself. Go do that for yourself. But like, I'm reading things constantly every day about how we don't know shit about this, we don't know shit about this, we think this, but we don't really know. This is dangerous, but we're giving it to people anyway. We're giving people this, we're giving people that. We shouldn't be doing this. This makes people grow tails. I don't know. I read all these things every single day, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why are we still prescribing these things? Why are we still, why? And the answer's simple. And that's so unfortunate for us, because we are the ones that are blamed at the end of the day. I've had multiple friends, family members, like people who are just like, well, why don't you just take your medication? It's not that hard. Why don't you go to the psychiatrist and bring this up to them? Tell them that you don't feel well. Tell them this, tell them that. And it's like, what the fuck do you think I'm doing? You don't think I don't want to live this way. I really don't. But now at this point in my life, and like my life is short, so I can't imagine how other people feel. Or my life, not short, hasn't been, I'm 25. Like, bitch, I'm afraid of medication, I truly am. And it's not from all medication, like it took me forever to get that COVID shot because I don't know what, like, they don't care, like no one cares. And that was established when I had a lymph node the size of a golf ball. I have not got an explanation as to why that lymph node swelled up, what that lymph node is from. Like, it could have been from anything, I understand that. And I have not been able to find any research or anything out there except for one person commented on it. They commented and they talked about how they had a lymph node swell up too on lithium. Point being is that lymph nodes don't swell up for no reason. And the only thing that I can pinpoint as to why that might have been was the lithium. I'm not like the worst case scenario. People have their livers fucked up. People have like their shit gets rocked on some of these medications, like rocked. So like, who wants to, like, I'm afraid, and I'm not saying that you should be afraid, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try these things, but like, read the shit, y'all. Like, say it's rare, but I have a YouTube channel where it's not even that big. Like, we don't have I don't have millions of viewers. I don't have millions of subscribers. It's not that big of a community. But if 80% of this small community is talking about problems with their medications, problems that I'm also reading in these journals, that like, I've even sometimes experienced myself, if we are all having problems, it can't be that rare, because rare would be like, there's one person here, like in the comments who said, this shit fucked me up, and everyone else is just like, what? That's rare. That's what rare means to me. I'm not fucking with it, y'all. I'm not here for it. And I'm tired of people making it seem like it's our fault. And I didn't mean for this to become more of a rant. Honestly, it was supposed to be more science-y and like, just a little bit more structured, but it's fucking pissing me, it just pisses me off. Like, I have not had, and it's not like anyone's fault necessarily, I'm not saying that they're withholding the research and like the advancements, but the stigma around either taking medication or not taking medication, like, people always talk about like the stigma with taking medication, like people are always, it's okay to take your pills, blah, 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 blah. Like, is it okay to not take your pills? Because let me know, because apparently it's not okay to not take your pills. Like, I have a lot of comorbid conditions, and they all stem from fucking developmental trauma and bullshit that I just like am now finding out. And I need a medication to help these things, but the medications, like, you can't treat bipolar disorder with stimulants, which is greatly how I learn and how I'm treated with ADHD, and you can't do that because they all fucking balance and interact and they don't fucking work right. I need like a specific, like, I need fucking God, I need Jesus, I need somebody to figure this shit out. Because like, I cannot get through my day and think like straight. That's not even an understatement. I can't get through my day. I have very severe ADHD. And it's not that I can't focus, it's the hyper-focus, it's the over-criticalization, it's the thoughts, it's the everything that's not like I can't focus. Because I focus on everything, just way too much, way too hard, way too long. My timing, my planning is all fucked up. Then my mood's all fucked up because of bipolar disorder. And then there's also like the fucking like body dysmorphia and anorexia. And like, I definitely can't take any stimulants with that because I want to take stimulants, so I don't eat. But like, if you don't eat, that affects bipolar disorder. It's just like, It's a lot. and I know that therefore the onus does fall on me because, bitch, that's what we got to work with. But can y'all like lighten up? Can y'all back the fuck off me? Like, just give me a second. Let me like back the fuck up. Like, everyone is like waiting for me to do this. Everyone's asking me when I'm gonna do this. Everyone's like not pressuring me necessarily, but it's like they make it seem as though it's like, you just gotta do this and you'll be okay. And it's like, no, you fucking... I'm cussing a lot in this video. Because we're animated. It's just, you know, I don't want to hear another person talk about, unless they have bipolar disorder, or unless they have these conditions, talk about medication to me in my face. But I do remember that like my life wasn't fixed. If anything, I remember having an epiphany or like a realization. I was like, oh, this shit don't do nothing. I mean, it works, but it's like, this isn't like the boom, like I'm fixed now, I'm healed, I'm better. Granted, my symptoms are a lot less severe on medications, or the medications I have been on, namely lithium. It's been less severe, they've worked. I've had other complications, yes, but also like it doesn't fix everything. Like, it doesn't fix my bipolar disorder, it just dampens it. It feels like it's a fucking kryptonite battery on me. And again, that might be different for me, because I have a complex case. I'm kind of just over it. At this point, I do have a new doctor, because the other one wasn't working for me. I have a new doctor. I'm gonna talk to them about prescriptions. I'm gonna try these drugs. I'm afraid to, but I'm gonna try them because that's the best we got, right? It's the best we got. I'm gonna try, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what makes me feel best. And I don't mean like being manic make feel best. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but if these medications fuck me up, if what I'm doing, if anything is fucking up my shit, I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting it out, no question asked, and don't like come to me like talking about it, because you're not me, and I just don't understand. They're not us. Like, who's gonna help us? Who's there? Who's helping us? I am so frustrated, and I'm laughing, and I'm joking around, but it's also just like, y'all, for real. What's the end game? Let me know.